Somewhere in the ocean right now, there's a creature that has technically already lived forever. It doesn't age. It doesn't die of old age the way you will. When it gets sick or injured or old, it simply hits a reset button and becomes young again. And it can do this over and over endlessly. Scientists call it the immortal jellyfish, and hidden inside its tiny transparent body might be the answer to the oldest question we've ever asked. Do we actually have to die? Let's start with the creature itself, because you would never look at it twice. It's called Turritopsis dohrnii. It's smaller than your fingernail, about 4 millimeters across, a see-through little bell drifting through the world's oceans. You could scoop one up and never know you were holding the closest thing to immortality that biology has ever produced. And yet, this tiny, brainless blob can do something no human, no elephant, no ancient tree can truly do. It can refuse to die. Here's how it works. Every animal you know of has a one-way life. You're born, you grow up, you grow old, and eventually your body wears out. That direction never reverses. A butterfly cannot become a caterpillar again. But the immortal jellyfish can. When it's threatened, starving, injured, sick, or simply aging, it does something that sounds impossible. Its adult body begins to transform in reverse. Its cells physically change from one type into another, a process called transdifferentiation, and the whole jellyfish collapses back into a tiny blob, then settles onto the seafloor and becomes a polyp, the infant stage it began its life as. From that polyp, brand new jellyfish bud off. It has effectively become young again, and it can do this again and again with no known limit. A Japanese scientist named Shin Kubota at Kyoto University spent years obsessively studying these creatures in his lab. He watched a single jellyfish rejuvenate itself over and over, reverting, regrowing, reverting again, proving with his own eyes that this reset button was real. In principle, a Turritopsis dohrnii could cycle like this forever. It could be, in the truest biological sense, immortal. No aging, no natural death, just an endless loop of becoming young again. But before you start feeling cheated by evolution, there's a catch. Immortal does not mean invincible. Out in the ocean, these jellyfish are eaten by predators constantly. They get sick. They die by the millions. Their trick only works against one specific enemy: old age. Against everything else, they're as fragile as anything else that's small. So in practice, almost none of them actually live forever. They simply can, in a way you never will. And that raises a deeper, stranger question. When a jellyfish reverts to a polyp and starts over, is it even the same jellyfish? Because here is the part almost nobody talks about. To pull off its immortality, the creature has to give up everything that made it what it was. When it resets, its adult body is gone. Its form dissolves. And crucially, it has no brain, no memory, no sense of self to lose in the first place. The immortal jellyfish doesn't remember its past lives because there is no one inside it to remember. It survives not by holding on to itself, but by erasing itself completely and starting from nothing. Its immortality isn't really the same being living forever. It's a genetic thread continuing, while the individual is wiped away every single time. Which forces us to look uncomfortably at ourselves. Why do we age at all? For a long time, scientists assumed aging was simply inevitable, that all things must wear out. But that isn't quite true. Some creatures barely age at all. And the jellyfish proves that biology is capable of hitting reverse. So why don't we? The leading answer is brutally practical. Evolution doesn't actually care whether you live forever. It cares whether you reproduce. Your body is built to get you to adulthood, help you pass on your genes, and after that, maintenance simply stops mattering to evolution. Aging is what happens when the warranty runs out on a machine that was only ever designed to last long enough to make the next one. Biologists even have a name for this grim little bargain, the disposable-soma. Your body is a vessel that evolution is perfectly willing to use up and throw away. In 2022, scientists in Spain sequenced the entire genome of the immortal jellyfish, hunting for the secret, and they found it had unusual versions of genes tied to DNA repair and to protecting its cells from damage, the very things that break down as we grow old. It's not a fountain of youth we can drink tomorrow, but for the first time, we're holding the blueprint of a creature that solved the problem of aging, reading it line by line, wondering how much of it might one day apply to us. But here's the thing worth sitting with. Even if we could copy the jellyfish exactly, even if you could reset your body to childhood whenever you wished, would you want what the jellyfish actually has? Because its immortality comes at the ultimate price. It has no memories, no story, no relationships it carries with it, no moment it can look back on. It simply exists forever as no one in particular. It has traded everything that makes a life feel like a life for the single, hollow achievement of not ending. And when you put it that way, our mortality starts to look less like a curse and more like the price of admission for something far rarer. You don't get to live forever, but you get something the jellyfish never will. You get to be someone. You get a single, continuous story with a beginning, a middle, and yes, an end, and the ability to remember every chapter of it. The ending isn't a flaw in the story. It's the very thing that gives the story its shape. A song that never stopped would just be noise. It's the final note that makes all the others mean something. So the immortal jellyfish drifts on through the dark water, resetting itself into eternity, feeling nothing, remembering nothing, being no one. It has all the time in the world, and no life to speak of. And you have the opposite, a flicker of time, impossibly brief against the age of the universe, but it's yours. You will remember it. You will be changed by it. And one day it will end, which is exactly why every moment inside it was ever worth anything at all. The jellyfish got forever. You gotta be alive. Given the real choice, it isn't nearly as obvious as it sounds. Which of you got the better deal? Thanks for watching the Unspoken channel. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Until next time.